Hello, everyone. Welcome again. I'm in the kitchen cutting some watermelons right now, slicing them up and putting them in a plastic container. I just had something that came up in my head right now. And I know I mentioned it on the last video, not my prediction video, but the video that I made about uh, the demotion of Sean Lewis and the elevation of Pat Shurmur. And this is what I think. This is more conspiratory than it is me saying something based on fact. Other things that I've said is because I really truly feel a deep connection and a deep conviction of it. So that's why I say it. This, I'm not totally convicted, like 100% convicted about what I'm about to tell you guys. But however, I do believe that this is a possibility of what could happen this game today, Colorado against Oregon State. I feel that because I want you guys to put your comment in. Comment if you think that I'm off base with this. I think the demotion of Sean Lewis, in a way, is Prime underhandedly throwing in the towel on the hopes and the push for his son for the Heisman. He knows that's over. That story is over. I don't care if from this game forth, the last 4 games of the season, I don't care if Shador balls out. He's not going to win the Heisman. And I think, and I know that Coach Prime knows that. So the coaching change is going to bring either two things. But one thing, I think it has a higher chance of bringing this in. There's a higher probability of this occurring. That because Prime knows that the push for the Heisman for Shador is over, and plus, Shador's beat up. He even said it. The last press conference, when he talked about the painkiller injections at halftime, we understand that, right? He talked about this week's practice of leading to this game. And that press conference, he said he's going to just let him rest. Take it easy. Heal. The boy needs to heal. He's been hit too many times. With that being said, I don't think Prime's going to continue to put his son in harm's way. There was a commenter on one of my videos. It was a young lady, a young queen. She said, why would Prime continue to put his son in harm's way to keep getting hit? You don't know what you're talking about. She said, AKA, I'm tripping. And I said, no, I'm not tripping. He's willing to have his son take hits because it's a high risk, high reward proposition. High risk means that to pass the ball a lot means that I'm predictable. It means that our team's offensive schemes are predictable, which means that there's a higher chance that my son's going to take hits. Which is why I also need to throw my offensive line under the bus because they're not helping me push the narrative that I want to push. But the high reward is, my son can win the Heisman this year. It didn't work out that way for Prime this year. It was more high risk, low reward. So now that Prime has came to that realization, which is to me, is a underhanded way of being humbled, but not truly being humbled because he's not operating truthfully because the demotion of Sean Lewis is it's a manipulative tactic. It's not straightforward because it paints the picture like a painter. It paints the picture that Sean Lewis has been the problem. And like I said on the last video that I made, when I made the announcement about Sean Lewis being demoted, it shows people that it must be Sean Lewis's fault. So there's a bit of disingenuousness going on there on the part of Coach Prime, making it seem like it's Coach Lewis's fault, where in actuality it's actually Coach Prime's fault. So what I think is going to happen this game, this is when it becomes a bit conspiratory. All right, this is what I think could happen. This game against Oregon State, don't be surprised. I could be wrong, but if it happens, I'm going to come across as some kind of prophet. You guys are going to be looking at me like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. This game, in this game, do not be surprised if Coach Pat Shurmur runs the ball a lot more than they pass. Or runs the ball a lot more than they've done in the past games. If they win because of the run, it works double well. It works twofold for Coach Prime and Shurmur. I'm going to explain. I want you guys to follow me here. Follow me. So, Pat Shurmur decides to run the ball a lot more this game. Guess who that protects? Number one, it protects Shurmur because Shurmur won't be taking that many hits. Number two, it works well for Prime because now it seems like Sean Lewis is definitely the problem, or that Sean Lewis was definitely the problem. Because all of a sudden now you have a new offensive coordinator that's running the ball more. Why is this monumental? It's monumental because I prefaced this part of the video by telling you guys that if Coach Prime knows in his heart of hearts that the race for Heisman talks is over for his son, then that's also him throwing in the towel and trying to pad his son's stats. So whenever you've pushed back on his passion and ego and pride for that goal to have his son be talked about in the Heisman talks, once you push back from that, now logical reasoning and rational reasoning gets inserted. Now Prime is like, okay, my son's kind of beat up. I don't want him to take any more beatings. Hey, Coach Pat, let's run the ball more this game, okay? That takes Coach Prime off the hot seat. Or not the hot seat like he's going to get fired, but that takes the pressure off of Prime taking criticism from people like me. Well, it's not going to take it off from people like me because I know what's going on. See, it's a win-win proposition for Coach Prime with Pat Shurmur coming in. Number one, you demote your offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator, to prove that you're trying to make a change. Number two, you put in Pat Shurmur, and you get, because remember, Coach Prime is still the head coach. No offensive coordinator can come in and do whatever the hell they want. I'll go as far as to say this. Do you think when Sean Lewis was the offensive play caller, when he was the offensive coordinator, do you think it'll go well? Do you think it would go well with Coach Prime if Coach Sean Lewis decided to run the ball significantly more than he passed? He would be fired the next day. Coach Prime would get rid of him. Because you are not going to not allow me to allow my son to shine. You would not take the ball out of my son's hands. That's what this is all about. And that's what I'm trying to reiterate to you guys so you guys can understand it. I am not tripping. I'm not a Prime hater. If you look back at my earlier videos, I love Prime. I love what he was doing. I love what he is doing. But I just don't think he's operating in truth right now. And I think that everybody else around him is taking the heat and taking the blame, and he's not. He's not, because he's not being honest with himself, and he's not being honest with his team. And it's causing a division in that locker room. Mark my words, it's going to come out. There's a divide in that locker room. So this is a win-win proposition for Coach Prime. Because Pat Shurmur comes in, he runs the ball more, Shurmur gets protected, so now Coach Prime now feels like, okay, I'm protecting my son from taking all these blows and taking these hits. Number two, and Coach Prime isn't an idiot. He knows he has good running backs. He knows his line could block for the run. He knows that. He knows that. He doesn't want them to take the shine, though. Like, again, it's not about W's. It's about the agenda. W's is secondary, tertiary. It's not really on the highest. It's not on the highest board in terms of priority right now. It's about Shurmur. But that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. Shurmur winning a Heisman or being even considered to be a Heisman Trophy candidate, that's gone. So now common sense kicks in. Prime is now saying, okay, I got a new offensive coordinator. We're going to change the offensive scheme because, hey, it's not my fault. It was Sean Lewis. He was the one running all those pass plays. It's not my fault. It is your fault, Coach Prime, because you know good and well, if Sean Lewis was not calling pass plays, you would have his head on a platter. He would be gone. He'll be out of there. You knew exactly what you wanted in the beginning, Prime. You wanted your son to shine, and you were pass heavy. So this is what could possibly happen against Oregon State. Pat Shurmur comes in, he runs the ball a lot, and that running the ball a lot is coming from somebody. That's not Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur's not going to come in. Remember, all the men he has on his team are yes men. Deion has a very strong personality. He is not, like I'm telling you guys, he's more Nick Saban than he is some kind of buddy coach. He's a totalitarian. He's a dictator. In a good way, because a head coach needs to have control. You can't have other people doing what they want. You got to have your thumb on everybody. So that's good. That's not a bad quality to have. So don't get the idea that, oh, it's just the offensive coordinators are doing what they want to do and Coach Prime doesn't know about it. No, Coach Prime knows exactly what the offensive coordinators are doing because it's coming from Coach Prime. He's the one giving the directive. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So, Pat Shurmur comes in today, a possibility against Oregon State, and he decides to run the ball a lot. Well, guess what? Shedeur doesn't get hit that much. He may get hit every now and then, but he won't take that many sacks because now they're not predictable. And Coach Prime looks like, hey, he's a genius because he switched offensive coordinators, and this offensive coordinator is smart enough to run the ball. But we know that's not the case. The last offensive coordinator was smart enough to run the ball. He just wasn't given the directive to run the ball as much as he wanted to. All right? And then what would put the icing on the cake? What would put the icing on the proverbial cake is if Colorado actually wins. And they changed their philosophy. They won differently. They were pass heavy in the beginning. The first 8 games of the season, they were pass heavy. Pat Shurmur comes in to save the day because he runs the ball a lot this game, and they actually win. Oh, Deion would look like a savior. Deion would look like a genius. But that's not the case. Pat Shurmur is taking the fall. Not Pat Shurmur, but Sean Lewis is taking the fall for this, and the fall should be on Coach Prime's head because he did his due diligence. He did the vetting. He knew exactly what type of play caller Sean Lewis was. But Sean Lewis is not the kind of play caller that passes a lot. When he was at Kent State, he did a lot of RPOs. He had a running quarterback that could run. You already knew that, Coach Prime. You know your son is not a running quarterback, but yet you still got Sean Lewis to come. You know why? Because Sean Lewis believed in you. He was a head coach of Kent State. So basically, he kind of took a demotion in a way. He said, okay, I'll be your offensive coordinator, Coach Prime, because I believe in what we're going to do here. I believe that we can be national champions one day because I know I'm a talented enough play caller to get the job done. But Coach Prime says, hell no, yeah, you're a talented offensive coordinator to get the job done my way. Put the ball in my son's hands, and we're going to pass the ball on every damn down. We may run every now and then, but we're not going to run. We're going to pass. So Sean Lewis is like, well, damn. He is kind of my boss. I can't just come here and start being insubordinate. So let me just follow what he tells me to do. Just because Sean Lewis was an offensive coordinator who ran the ball 48% of the time in Kent State with a running quarterback, are you trying to tell me that he's incompetent, that he doesn't have common sense to institute a running offense with good running backs? Just because that's his MO, just because that's his preference, is to have a running back, does that mean that he's incapable of calling running plays for other running backs? Does that mean that? No. He's competent enough. Coach Prime knew what he was getting with Sean Lewis. He wanted Sean Lewis to pass the ball every down. So, I'm going to end with this here. I'm watching the Notre Dame Clemson game. Pretty good game. Fourth quarter, 23-31. I'm going to end with this here. Pat Shurmur comes out today, runs the ball more. Shedeur doesn't get hit that much. Colorado looks like a totally different team. And Coach Prime is looked at as a genius who made the sudden change to change the team around. Yeah, Coach Prime made the change. But he made the change when everybody's pointing the finger at Sean Lewis. It should be that Coach Prime made a change, and he points the finger at himself, saying that it was my philosophy, it was my agenda, it was my push for a certain narrative that made us be the way we are. Mark my words, not if. When Sean Lewis gets another head coaching gig, watch how he operates his offense, and then you guys will have an epiphany a year or two from now and come back and say, man, I remember that guy was saying that. Yeah. The way the offensive schemes were drawn out and what Coach Sean Lewis was doing was not what Coach Sean Lewis wanted to do, is what Coach Prime wanted to do. Okay? So the introduction of Pat Shurmur is a symbolic means of throwing in the towel on that Heisman talk crap. So now he has to think more about his son's health. His son's health is secondary. The primary goal was the Heisman at the expense of his son's health, which is why he never changed his philosophy on offense, having his son getting beat down every play. But then you're not taking responsibility as the coach to say that I'm the one dictating these plays. I'm going to throw my offensive line under the bus. And when that's not enough, when your offensive line are not blocking the way you want them to block, now I have to throw my offensive coordinator under the bus. So the Heisman talk is over. So I do expect Colorado to run the ball more this game. And it's not because Pat Shurmur wants to. It's because Coach Prime wants him to do that. Because he's trying to protect his son. Protect his son from taking all the hits. Because the Heisman talk is over. So now common sense now seeps into the brain of Coach Prime. Okay, you know what? It's over. Let me just go ahead and be a regular coach and call a balanced offense. Even though he's not the architect of the offensive plays, because Coach Prime is not a coordinator. He's a coach. He leads men. He puts people in a prime position to do their jobs to the best of their ability. But don't be fooled and think that the jobs that these other coaches are doing, that they're not getting their directives from him. He's the head coach, hence the term head, the head of the snake, the head coach. Everything is dictated from that top. There's hierarchy in this. There's levels to this. You can't come on a prime team and do what the hell you want. So anything that happens with Coach Sean Lewis or Pat Shurmur, it's coming from Coach Prime. Coach Prime is not an innocent victim here. He's not the victim. He's not a victim of some kind of plant that's on the team and people are trying to sabotage Coach Prime and Coach Prime doesn't know what's going on. He handpicked every assistant coach. He vetted each one and he got yes men that will fall in line with his agenda. Come on, guys. We're talking about Deion freaking Sanders, Coach Prime, prime time. He's not a slouch. Y'all don't know who he is. So that's what's going to happen this game. I feel like that's going to happen. And I will not be surprised if that happens. Now, if it doesn't happen, that's not going to bode well for Colorado because that means they're going to lose. If they revert back to always passing, doing the same thing that they've always done, they're going to lose this game big time because Oregon State, as I said in my prediction, is a better team than them, offensively and defensively. Colorado ranks last in rushing in the Pac-12, 78.6 yards a game rushing. That is pathetic. That is anemic. That is pathetic. 78.6 yards rushing a game. And mind you, most of those yards aren't coming from design run plays. Some of those are just Shedeur running for his life. So, believe you me, guys. Believe you me. Coach Prime has everything set up to not take the fall for this, but he should. I just feel bad that Coach Lewis is taking the fall. So do not be surprised this game if Coach Pat Shurmur, under the directive of Coach Prime, runs the ball more this game to help keep Shedeur upright because the Heisman talks is over. That ship has sailed. So I know my son came in the Heisman, so let me stop these pass plays from getting my son beat the hell up. And then you're gonna see how different Colorado actually looks, how they probably control time of possession, how they may end up winning the game if they actually run the ball. But if all that happens, it makes Coach Prime look like a genius, like I said before. And he's not really a genius. He's not really a genius. He's just a man out for his own personal gain. And out of default, out of necessity, he decides to make a switch and humble himself. But not truly humbling himself. Humbling himself, hiding a hand that he's throwing rocks with because he's throwing everybody else under the bus but himself. He needs to put himself under that bus and let the bus run him over so he can truly be flattened and humbled and understand that what you did to Colorado this year was a travesty. You wasted Alton McCaskill's year. You didn't use any of your damn running backs. You created a pass-heavy offense. You put strain on your offensive line. Pass blocking is not their strength, but pass blocking is not the offensive line's strength, but they're not bad in it. They're decent. But when pass blocking is not your strength and you're passing on every damn play, then it becomes glaringly weak because now the defense can predict. You become predictable as an offense. So the defense is not even predicting anymore. They know what you're going to do. They know what you're going to do. And that can start weighing heavily on the psyche of the quarterback because now he starts to see ghosts. Even when players aren't even near him, he doesn't have that calm in a pocket that he usually had. Now he runs more. He runs out of the pocket more. He doesn't sit there and wait. He's afraid that he's going to take another hit. He's human. Nobody wants to continually keep getting smashed and smashed and smashed and hit. No one wants to take that. For crying out loud, they do that to take painkillers at halftime of a game. Not at the end of the game. At halftime, he was already done. And the coach leaves him in the last 6 minutes of a game that's out of reach, and you leave him in. One of the commenters on one of my videos, he said something very enlightening to me. Because I was wondering, why are you leaving him in? The game is over. Your son's taking a hell of a beating. 6 minutes left against UCLA. The score is 28-6. The game is totally out of reach. Coach Prime leaves his limping son in the game. I'm not leaving my son in the game. I don't give a damn what agenda I have. His health is more important, not Coach Prime. The commenter on one of my videos said he wants to make sure that Shurmur has a passing touchdown in every game this season. At least a passing touchdown. And you tell me that Prime cares about the team. Nah, man, he's about himself. Individual accolades. And that's why that team is torn. I'm surprised they're 4-4 with this kind of nonsense that's going on. That's to let you know how good this team could really actually be. They should be 8-2. They should be 6-2 or 7-1. That's how good they are. If they were a bad team, I wouldn't be making these videos. It pains me because I know they're better than that. But the people that everyone's praising as being the best coach and this and that is the one that's hindering the team from operating at its most optimal state. Sean Lewis, he's a proven coach. He had a top 10 offense when he was at Kent State. Thank you for one of my commenters for making that comment. I took it from him. All right? Top 10 offense. He's proven. Coach Prime is not proven. Not on this level. HBCU level, that's one thing. On the major Power 5 conference level, he's not proven. Now he's trying to prove himself. But when you're out trying to get personal things done at the expense of the team, that is not good, Coach Prime. That is not good. But that's my spiel. Don't be surprised if Pat Shurmur runs the ball more to protect Shurmur because the Heisman talks is over. So Coach Prime is not going to continue to put his son in harm's way to take those blows for no reason because the Heisman talk is over. So they're going to run the ball more. They could run the ball more. And they could win by running the ball more. And then if that does happen, Coach Prime is looked at as a genius. But it's not Coach Prime being a genius. It's just him making a change when he had no choice to make a change. It's like somebody telling the truth when they're cornered and they have no choice. When you had the chance to tell the truth, you lied. But when someone has a gun to your head threatening to kill you, now you tell the truth. That's what I feel that Prime is doing right now. He's forced to make a change. But he's making that change to kind of hide behind Sean Lewis, using him as a scapegoat. Hide behind the offensive line. It's their fault. They need to be better. They need to be better to block for my son so my son's stats can be bigger so he can win the Heisman. It's not working. I have to make a change to let the public know that I'm doing something about this. But hey, Pat Shurmur, we're not going to pass a lot this game, okay? I want you to stick to the run a little more because, man, my son is taking a beating. As if As if now he just realized his son is taking a beating. Your son was taking a beating since game 1 of the season. He was already getting sacked a lot. That was one of the issues everyone was talking about. I think he has to be the most sacked quarterback in college football by far. So all of a sudden now, Coach Prime has an epiphany. Okay, let's run the ball more now. It's because the Heisman talks is over. That's been the thing that's been generating this type of nonsense and generating this type of offensive philosophy, is the drive to pat the stats of his son for the Heisman talks. Since that's over, he's going to now make a shift. Not because he got smarter. It's because he has no choice. Because if he doesn't, his son's going to get killed. Not literally, but figuratively. He's going to get killed out there. Painkillers at halftime? Do you know? I've done surgery. I've gotten into a bad car accident before. This is why I have this scar. I had to have rods put in my hand. When you get injected with painkillers from playing a sport, that guy's getting beat up out there. Now, I don't think you guys understand the magnitude of what's going on with Shurmur and his father right now. And then you leave him in the last 6 minutes of the game. Shame on you, Coach Prime. Shame on you, man. All right, that's my spiel, man. Thank you guys for listening. Comment and let me know what you guys think. All right, bye.